guys think? I mean, we're in the middle of a storm of business, right? It is on fire. It is unprecedented. All those words that people are using, but it's going to cool. It's going to recede. Yeah. What would you say to agents? What opportunity does that represent? What should they be planning for?
This is interesting because I watched this during, what was it, 08, 09, when during the financial collapse, right? And all that. And you saw a lot of the industry shake out. What you did see right away, I saw two things. The top agents who were already marketing heavily and prepared simply seized on that moment, marketed harder, became more and doubled down. Exactly. And they were extremely successful during that time. A lot of them, I can think of a lot off the top of my head. I would always say, Brian says this all the time, but when you said, when's the right time to be marketing? Like all the time, you really need to kind of, be thinking of branding and marketing always, but the more prepared, you never want to take for granted this industry, this moment in the industry, this pace is going to keep going forever, because obviously it's not going to. It has to shift at some point. But those who are prepared and who actually have their ducks in order when that does transpire have such an advantage, because it's so much easier to adapt and pivot in that moment, and to actually kind of, as you said, double down, but to really focus in on what avenues, like how are your metrics? Are you seeing where your leads are coming from? Where your success is coming from? How dialed in are you on that data? If you have all of that and you've already been putting in the work, so to speak, you're in a much better position to succeed and to continue to thrive, even when that happens, because it simply shakes out the serious from the not so serious, and the people who were prepared from the ill prepared. Yeah. And that's the best way I can put it. Like if you already are prepared for anything in those moments, you're going to be just fine, truly. Yeah. And there's always business. I look at it that way. Even when the market shifts, there's business to be had out there. It's just, again, how memorable were you in those moments? How much did you prepare for this? How ready were you? Because otherwise you're playing catch up, and to catch up and rebrand, or to dial together a brand or tie together a brand when it's not shored up and ready to go, that can take you months, right? And that you don't want to be behind in that moment in time, because just like the pandemic, when everybody was wondering what was going to happen that next day, all those days counted. And when those moments hit, it's, how much money do you have in the bank? How much do you have that you set aside during this? How prepared for you with your marketing? What did all that look like? Because each day that passes that you're not, and you're playing catch up, is costly. So it really is just being prepared. And we talked about earlier, the search engine side or the marketing side, working on organic practices too, of just trying to, rank your way and pull your way up through Google, so you aren't paying always, because a lot of people do paid ads or Google screened and things like that, which are tremendous, and you should be doing that. But the more you can pick up organic, where you're not constantly paying for that as much and constantly having that bill, if you will, or at least it's complementary to it, but the organic can help carry it, makes a huge difference. So there's little things like that. But to me, it's making sure your brand is always ready, your marketing's in place, everything's sort of well-oiled and set to be kicking ass in a highly, busy market, or ready for, if things slow down, to be able to adapt and move quickly.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things that the big word that I heard in there was avenues. And probably because I'm so visual, and when Jon's talking about all these different things of, maybe it's pay-per-click, maybe it's SEO, maybe it's, email marketing, whatever it may be, right? Maybe it's even your hard stuff, like your mailers, etc. Those are different avenues. And when he's talking about being prepared, that's what I kind of visualize, is how many avenues do you have coming in to make sure that if and when anything happens, you're ready to roll no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's being what's the word I'm looking for, but it's being opportunistic, but in a good way. It's like, are you ready to seize that moment and figure out how to leverage it in your advantage, to your advantage, in your favor? So that's it.
And if as
best you can.
Yeah. And if the past 18 months haven't been that eye opener, that you need to really look at the different avenues that you currently have,
and be ready. Yeah.
It's time. It's past time, but you should definitely have done that already. But if you haven't, please take a look at it.
And this stuff's fun. To me, marketing and branding, all this stuff's fun. Like it's fun to create something that is identifiable, that is something that really conveys who you are as a person and a personality and as a human being. And if you can do that, you know, through creative means and through video, audio, all these things, it's such a huge difference. It's going to pay dividends tenfold in the future. So